Hello and welcome to Out of Spec Overlanding. My name is Zach and this is my 1997 Jeep Cherokee XJ with a 4.0 straight six engine, automatic transmission, and 373 gears. Let me take you around the car and tell you all about it. So I picked up this Jeep for $2,500 in Texas about a year ago or so. Since then, I have put a 3.5-inch rough country lift on it, kind of pieced together, not exactly from their website. It was back when parts were really hard to get. So I had to order everything separately and hodgepodged it together to what you see here. I did the paint work myself, insert a picture here, but I sanded it down, Raptor lined the whole thing. And as you can see, it might be 2 shades of green. So don't tear me apart in the comments because Raptor liner doesn't know they're greens. So I ordered it 2 different times. No big deal. But under the hood, we have the tried and true Jeep straight six. This motor has had the top of the motor replaced pretty recently. I had that done in Texas. No leaks, everything works. AC blows ice cold, heater works, and shifts good. It's a real solid rig. I'm super excited to take y'all along the ride with us and show you all the cool things we're gonna do to this thing this summer. We have some really cool content coming. And yeah, it's a real honest Jeep. As basic as it comes, 245,000 miles or so. Give or take, I don't remember. It's an old car, it has a lot of miles, but no leaks, everything works, and it's a really great car. And it is riding on 31-inch 1050 Milestar Patagonia tires on the stock rims that I painted, and the brakes might be a little black too because I did zero prep work on that. But it is, every sense of the word, a true off-roader. It does no daily commuting. It hasn't been started in 6 months. I cranked it up today, right down the road, it was ready to go. So it's a great Jeep, super excited to share it with y'all and also taking on some trails. And this, you're gonna be seeing a lot of this Jeep coming up. So be ready, strap in, Out of Spec Overlanding's back and we're ready to go. All right, so you're probably wondering why a Jeep Cherokee? Why would you go with an old 97 XJ over a 97 Wrangler? Because Wranglers are the best. But for those of you who don't know, the XJ is what I call the poor man's Wrangler. And why I say that is this Jeep is very affordable, even in today's climate. Go on Craigslist, Facebook, look up Jeep Cherokee XJs, and you'll be shocked about the value. This one came in at $2,500 from a guy who was selling off an old man's stuff who died. And it was sitting on a ranch in Texas somewhere. It hadn't been started in like 3 years when I bought it. It sat for a very long time. So I had to do a ton of work replacing the fuel pump and the fuel lines and getting the old gas out of the thing. But this is a honest Jeep, and that's what I really like about it. Is it's very capable. It has straight axles, has a Dana 30 in the front and a Chrysler 8 1/4 in the rear, with may or may not be a working limited slip. I haven't quite figured it out yet if it is a true limited slip, but I think it is because it does have the max trailer package on there. So it does have the 373 gears front and rear on it, but it has no lockers, with the exception of a potential limited slip in the rear. But everything inside works. AC works. I'll show you all a little bit inside just because it is an old Jeep. And it was originally forest green, and this is actually olive green Raptor liner that I did myself. But if you look up in the top, I just did the sound deadening pretty recently. My dad messed it up and we lost the headliner, so this is how it's gonna sit forever. But it works, and that's all that matters with these old Jeeps, is it's simple, it works. I got shackles on the rear with an add-a-leaf. It's nothing fancy at all. And that's what we're aiming to show here is you can take, let's say, 5,000 bucks, which is basically what I've got into this Jeep between parts, labor, all the different things that I've done to it. And you can have a ready-to-go off-roader that can take you pretty much anywhere. And this thing does not get good gas mileage. And yes, I do have the Jeep Wrangler badging. In case you're wondering, we are quick to point that out. These are the trail rated Jeeps, people. This thing is more trail rated than a Trail Hawk any day of the week. And we're gonna show that here. We're gonna get some Jeeps in. We're gonna compare this old gal to a new Cherokee and see what that looks like. And we're gonna have so many cool comparisons coming with this Jeep. So I hope y'all are ready, but we're also gonna be covering Kyle's Sprinter van, Timon's Lexus. We're going to have that on this channel as well as some really cool cars from the different manufacturers. What do we plan to do with this Jeep? Please put stuff in the comments below of what you would like to see on this Jeep. So I'm looking at a potential locker for the front, some fenders for these lovely fenders, because the stock ones flew off on the interstate, by the way. That's a real thing that can happen. And a winch for the front bumper, I think, is definitely needed, because I go off-road all the time by myself, and what they say is, either have a buddy or a winch. So yeah, that's what, not a lot. I'm not going to put a lot of money into this Jeep. It's going to be very simple and budget friendly, and that's what this is all about. Is you don't need $30,000, $40,000 to go hit a trail. You need $2,500, a buddy who can fix some stuff up, and you're off to the races. And once again, I got about $5 grand into this Jeep, and I don't plan on taking it past 8 or 9. So strap in, let's see what happens with this, and we'll be having plenty of adventures coming soon. And if you're looking in here, what you can see right here, timing, this is the quick disconnect for the sway bar. So we do have quick disconnects on here. I also replaced this track bar. I don't know if you can see that in the shot there, but I also replaced this track bar. And what I was saying earlier with parts being hard to get, everything is hodgepodge. This is a 3.5-inch spring from Superlift. This is a Rancho shock. This is a rough country track bar, and these are rough country quick disconnects. Because parts are hard to get, everything is hodgepodge together to make it affordable. And it all seems to work, but we're going to find out more, and we're going to really put this thing to the test. All right, so everyone's probably wondering, well, what's wrong with it? It's a Jeep, right? There's got to be, let's turn that down. There's got to be some stuff wrong with it. Well, I can tell you right now, it needs a new power steering pump. It has a ton of play in the wheel. Like, yes, we are moving right there, but it definitely has, we're not moving there. So it definitely has a lot of play in the wheel, which is typical of any old Jeep like this. The motor, the bones of it are good, but I think some parts of my patched together suspension are coming back to haunt me a bit, because it doesn't work. This window does not work. Huge crack in the windshield, but it wouldn't be a Jeep without a huge crack in the windshield, because that's pretty standard. So we're gonna get it out on the road here, open it up a bit, and just show you what 238,000 miles on a straight 6 that's never had the bottom out of it. Oh, there's a nice vet. Let's go catch him. And that's everything. So she ain't gonna win a race, but she shifts, she stays true, she drives straight a little bit, doesn't drift too much. But what I was talking about with that play in the wheel, that's a lot of play. If y'all can see that, I can do 2/4 turns basically without it really affecting the Jeep. But hey, it's an old Jeep, that's to be expected, but it definitely doesn't ride like a Cadillac. The back of the Jeep is on 2-inch rough country shackles with an add-a-leaf underneath it on a stock leaf spring pack. So it's not going to be the greatest thing in the world. So let's just run it up on something. We're going to look for a curb to pop over, just to kind of showcase how not smooth this thing is. So what do you think, Timon? Yeah, let's just jump this back one on the left tire. Let's take this turn a little bit too sharp. So, oh no, I can't drive. So, I mean, it's still got it where it counts. As you can see, you can pop a curb at 15 miles an hour and it's still going. The tires, I don't know if I covered that, but the tires are the Milestar Patagonia MTs. Basically the cheapest mud terrains you can buy at Discount Tire. And they're great. I've had no issues with them. They're great in the snow. They're great off-road. And they are on stock wheels, which kind of rub the control arms. So I'm sure there's some people out there who are thinking, oh, you got to lift on stock wheels. You're not supposed to use your stock wheels. I did try to use spacers. The wheel studs are not long enough for them, and the spacers almost fell off with the wheel on there. So, you learn things as you do this, because as much as I would like to, come on, Jeep. I would like to do stuff myself. I'm not very capable, and I tend to, when I do stuff myself, it fails miserably. So that's the great thing about having a Jeep. You can fail on this thing and then take it to a shop and fix it up. But once again, this is not all about Jeeps on this channel. This is just my personal cheapest car I could get with straight axles. Because everyone in the off-road community, everyone in the comments, please feel free to have the great IFS versus straight axle debate. But in my opinion, for Colorado, you want a straight axle and you want this. And this is a Jeep Wrangler. This does have a unibody, yes, but this is a Jeep Wrangler. It has a Dana 30 in the front and an 8 1/4 in the rear, which is what's going to come on a Jeep Wrangler in the 90s. So for everyone who hates on the Cherokees out there, go drive one and see how like capable they are, and see how much torture you can put them through, because it'll do it. It might not be happy about it sometimes, but she'll go. But yeah, as you can see, it drives great. It's a solid driver. You could drive this to work every day. We use it as like a secondary car sometimes, but everything works. Cruise works, AC works, the radio kind of works. With the straight axle debate, I wanted to let's dive into that, right? So why I got a straight axle in the first place was I lived in Austin, and there was this really cool off-road park that was pretty rock heavy. And I couldn't imagine taking independent front suspension out there, because you're going to lift a wheel every time. And that's what you want to keep from happening in off-roading. You want to be as stable as possible, have as many wheels on the ground as possible. And that's why having straight axles, in my opinion, is way better than IFS any day of the week, simply because you're going to have more wheels on the ground, more traction. And for what I want to do with off-roading, which is getting up on the rocks, getting up on the trails a bit, which is pretty much everything in Colorado, you need something with straight axles. For a soft roader, the Subaru fans out there, let's not bash the Subarus. Everything has its purpose and its place. And I love seeing Subarus out on the trails. Like when they're hitting the hard trails, I'm like, and that's what I use for my benchmark. I'm like, well, hell, if a Subaru can make it up there, my Jeep sure as hell can too. So that's my biggest thing with IFS is, if you're running IFS, you're probably looking into, hey, I go off-road every once in a while. It's not a dedicated off-roader. Having straight axles on the road is no fun. Let's be honest. If you're going on road trips and stuff like that, this is not the car to take. It drifts all over the road at 70 miles an hour. It's borderline terrifying because of how much plays in the wheel and how much it floats down the road. And that's where your IFS is going to win every day of the week. But if you're off-roading a lot, straight axles every day of the week, because less stuff to break, less parts. It's honest and true. All right, so thank y'all so much for watching this out of spec overlanding video. I'm super excited to show you my Jeep and show you all the great things we're going to be doing on this channel. And once again, this is not going to be a Jeep channel, so Subaru fans out there, don't freak out. Everyone out there, the Toyota guys, we're going to have plenty of content for everyone on here. So thank y'all. Tune in for the next video. We're going to go through my overlanding trailer, and I'm going to show you all the cool things that are happening there and what we plan to do with that as well. So stay tuned. Thank you all for watching. Have a great one. Bye.